Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally showing you my desktop setup as a second-year software engineering student. I've been using this setup for quite a while now, and I thought it would be nice to show you what's actually on my desk, what I use every day, and how everything works together. This is not really a super minimal setup because I have quite a few things here, but I try to keep everything I actually use within easy reach. So let's start with the computer. This is my Lenovo PC. I mainly use it for personal use, gaming, video editing, and anything that is more comfortable to do on a proper desktop rather than a laptop. It's also more powerful than my laptop, so it's a better option for things like video editing and gaming. Here are the main specifications if you're interested. I don't use this computer for university though, that's what I have my MacBook for. This is my LG UltraGear monitor. It's a 2K monitor with a 180 Hz refresh rate, and I use it as my main monitor for the PC. When I'm studying on my MacBook, I also use it as an extended display, which gives me a lot more screen space to work with. So, depending on what I'm doing, the same monitor can basically be part of two different setups. And then there is my MacBook Air with the M1 chip. This one is mainly for university, coding, and anything related to my projects. When I started university, we were actually recommended to get a Windows laptop because most of the things our professors teach and demonstrate are shown on Windows. But I already had this MacBook, so I decided not to buy another laptop just for university. And now, as a second-year student, I can say that so far I've managed to do everything I needed on my MacBook. In some situations, it has actually been even more convenient for me than using Windows. So for now, I'm really happy that I decided to keep using it instead of buying a new laptop. And this little thing is my Apple USB-C digital AV multiport adapter. I use it to connect my MacBook to the monitor through HDMI. It has a USB-C port, which means I can also charge my MacBook while it's connected, and a USB-A port, which I actually use for the receiver for my mouse. So this is basically what allows me to connect my MacBook to the rest of my desktop setup. For the keyboard, I have the Next MX5 mini gaming keyboard. I use this one specifically with my PC. I wanted something compact because I have a specific amount of space on my desk for the keyboard, and this size fits there perfectly. For my MacBook, I just use the built-in keyboard, so I don't really need a separate keyboard for it. For my mouse, I have the Logitech Pro X Superlight 2 SE. I use it with both my PC and my MacBook, basically for everything: studying, editing, browsing, and gaming. It's technically a gaming mouse and it's known for being one of the really good options for gaming, but I honestly just like using it for everything because it's comfortable and lightweight. For headphones, I have the Nikon Rig 600 Pro HS Dual Wireless Headset. I actually bought this when I still had an Xbox. I was looking for an affordable wireless headset for gaming, and these were a good option at the time. I don't have the Xbox anymore, but I kept the headphones and now I use them with my PC. They're definitely not perfect though. The noise isolation isn't the best and the microphone quality isn't amazing either, so I wouldn't really recommend them for things like Teams meetings or calls. But for gaming, watching videos, or just using them casually, they still work perfectly fine for me. And this is my iPad. It's an older model with Touch ID and it doesn't receive software updates anymore, but the battery life is still surprisingly good and it works perfectly fine for what I use it for. Nowadays, I mostly use it for reading and watching shows before bed, but during my first year of university, it was actually extremely useful. We had a lot of maths and courses where we had to draw diagrams and different kind of schemas, so having an iPad for that was really convenient. Who knows, maybe I will need it for studying again later, so I'm keeping it around. And this is my Belkin 3-in-1 charging station. I usually keep my phone, Apple Watch and AirPods here so I can charge all three of them in one place. I really like having a dedicated charging spot on my desk because it keeps the cables under control and everything is always where I expect it to be. And then I have this Dior box, which is basically my little random storage box. Inside, I keep the remote control for the air conditioner, which I only really need during summer, as well as the remote for the ceiling lights. I also keep my iPad charger, a couple of USB flash drivers, my Apple Pencil, AirPods, and some xylitol lozenges. And a little fun fact, xylitol was discovered in Finland, so I thought this was a fitting thing to keep on my Finnish desk. I also always have a notebook, a pencil, and some sticky notes on my desk. I use them every single day. In my notebook, I keep my to-do list, and I actually prefer having it on a paper rather than keeping everything digitally. I usually collect things from different calendars, my personal calendar, my family calendar, my uni calendar, basically everything I need to keep track of in one place. This notebook is almost finished actually, and I've already bought a new one. The new one is a little more compact, so I'm curious to see if I will like it even more. And sticky notes are basically essential for me. Sometimes I can have 10 of them on my desk at once because I suddenly get an idea for a project or a YouTube video, remember something I need to look up later, or just need to write something down before I forget it. They are probably one of those little things I use much more than I realize. I also have my EXE mousepad in size M. It's pretty simple, but I like having enough space for the mouse without taking up the entire desk. I always keep a glass of water here as well. It's one of those small things that I try to keep within reach because otherwise I will completely forget to drink water while I'm working on something. And of course, I have a little plant on my desk. I'm usually terrible at keeping plants alive, so I decided to give it another try. This one has been with me for a few weeks now, and surprisingly, it's still alive. So far, so good. I think it's actually doing pretty well, and soon I will probably move it into a proper pot. Hopefully, this one will survive. And finally, this is my Piranha gaming chair. Even though it's technically a gaming chair, I actually find it quite comfortable for everyday use, especially when I'm sitting at my desk for longer periods of time. I spend quite a lot of time here, so comfort is definitely important to me. And this is the desk itself. It's an electric height adjustable desk, which was actually something people tried to talk me out of when I was buying it because they thought I probably wouldn't use the standing function very much. But for me, it actually turned out to be really useful. As I mentioned in my morning routine video, I like to alternate between sitting and standing throughout the day, usually switching about every 30 minutes. So having an electric desk makes that really easy. There's one thing I changed about the desk though, and that's the surface. The original color is a very dark brown, almost black. The surface looked really nice, but it was also a complete fingerprint magnet. Even if I touch it with completely clean hands, I would leave marks everywhere. And after about 30 minutes, the whole desk looked like I hadn't cleaned it in weeks. It was also surprisingly difficult to clean without leaving streaks. So one day I finally decided to put this film over the surface, and honestly it made such a difference. It's much easier to keep clean now, and I also really like how it looks. So this is basically how everything comes together. I like that this space can be used for completely different parts of my day. I use it for studying, coding, video editing, gaming, and all the little everyday things I do at my desk. I can switch between my PC and my MacBook depending on what I'm doing, while still keeping the same monitor, mouse, and overall setup. It's basically my little space where I can focus when I need to, but also relax and spend some time doing things I enjoy. And I think that's probably my favorite thing about this setup. It's not just a desk with a bunch of tech on it. It's a space that has slowly become part of my everyday routine. And that's everything that's currently on my desk. Some things are purely practical, some are there because I like them, and some have just somehow ended up living here. I don't think this setup is ever going to be completely finished because I'm sure I will change things around again eventually. But for now, I really like how everything works together. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and watching my desktop setup tour. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I actually use everything and maybe found something useful or interesting along the way. And before you go, a small reminder. You don't need a perfect space to do meaningful things. Sometimes you just need a space that feels like your own.